You ruin my sleep, you ruin my plans, you ruin my talent for acting like I'm fine. You ruin my schedule, my sensible mood. Now I'm writing little songs about being obsessed with you. You ruin my mornings, my perfectly made bed, and now there's coffee on the counter and you living in my head. You ruin my cool, you ruin my game. Now every stupid love song sounds better with your name. If composure was the plan, I regret to report I abandoned the mission and made chaos a sport. I try to be careful, I try to be calm. Then you looked at me once and I was already gone. You're my favorite problem, my best bad idea. If peace was the goal, I would not be here. You're my favorite problem, my favorite excuse for losing my mind and calling it cute. I'd solve you if I could, but I love the mess you make. You're my favorite problem and my favorite mistake. No, not mistake, my favorite kind of fake. I had good sense, I had standards, I swear. Then you smiled from the kitchen and I unpacked them there. I had boundaries once, they were tasteful and clear. Then you walked in laughing and now we are here. You're a storm in my calendar, a plot twist with eyes, a minor inconvenience that changed my whole life. You're the one little disaster I thank God came my way. The reason I'm dramatic every night, every day. If calm was the dream, and baby I'm awake and I would like to complain, but I love the mess you make. You're the chaos I chose, the trouble I defend. You're my favorite problem and I choose you again. You're my favorite problem, my best bad idea. If peace was the goal, I would not be here. You're my favorite problem, my favorite excuse for losing my mind and calling it cute. I'd solve you if I could, but I love the mess you make. You're my favorite problem and my favorite kind of fake. You're the fever, you're the cure, you're the reason I need more. You're the chaos I defend, you're the problem I won't end. You're the question I keep asking, the beginning and the end. You're under my skin, you're in every plan. I was fine before I loved you, but look where fine lands. You're my favorite problem, my best bad idea. If peace was the goal, I would not be here. You're my favorite problem, my favorite excuse for losing my mind and calling it cute. You're the storm in my calendar, the plot twist in my day, the one little disaster I thank God came my way. You're the chaos I chose, the trouble I defend. You're my favorite problem and I choose you again. You ruin my sleep, you ruin my plans, you ruin me completely, and I'm not even mad. I was fine before I loved you, but fine was never enough. You're my favorite problem and my favorite kind of love. You're my favorite problem and I hope you stay severe. I was fine before I loved you, but I like the ruin here.